want to talk about the Clarity Act, Brad Garlinghouse, Brian Armstrong, and Banks, right? So this whole debacle on whether the Clarity Act should pass or not, like allowing crypto companies or crypto coins, Coinbase, allowed to stake crypto and not just let the banks have total control over it. One, why do we care? Let's not let the banks have any control. That is the entire point around crypto. This is the banks grabbing at straws, last-ditch effort to be able to control and take custody of our wealth. They have been doing this for hundreds of years. It's time for them to take a back seat. Why does Brad Garlinghouse not care about the Clarity Act? Oh, maybe because Ripple has a banking license. Maybe they were already thinking ahead, saying, well, this could go one of two ways and we should probably play both sides because that's how you win, right? So, yeah, the only crypto, which another reason to be pretty freaking bullish about XRP, no matter what the freaking chart says, the only crypto that has a banking license, Bitcoin, nobody knows who has all the Bitcoin. There is no entity that claims to be the producer of Bitcoin. Yeah, you got MicroStrategy, but, he's just pulling loans to buy frickin' Bitcoin. Anyways, and Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, saying, no, this isn't going to fly. You can't just come in and say, oh, well, you have to apply yourself to all of our banking regulations so that you can earn money off of your crypto. Okay, well, whatever. Like, screw your regulations. Your regulations don't even work. Your regulations don't even work. We have the freaking Federal Reserve that can just print money into oblivion. And then the whole idea around the banking system, which, mind you, is a big reason why a lot of countries don't like us. It is a big reason. Why did the BRICS nations go to a gold-pegged currency? Why are they going that route? Because the US dollar is just a piece of paper, cotton, that gets George Washington's face printed on it and Ben Franklin and all this and that. Well, it used to mean gold, it used to mean silver. That's the value behind it. And as you can see, with inflation, all asset prices go up. Not to mention gold and silver will skyrocket for all in eternity, especially considering that, the U.S. has been shut down for all of the industrial act of mining and all of that. Manufacturing, absolutely anything industrial has basically been shut down in the United States for 20 years or more, right? It's been a slow decline since basically the 80s, right? 80s, especially the 90s, a lot of stuff was getting shipped over to China. Oh, well, what certain country doesn't like, the US, right? So you can have different opinions on this or whatever, but I definitely think that this is really, really stressing the entire market, the whole economic system of the entire world, right? So where do all the giant money movers get their money from? Well, they get it from the S&P 500, they get it from people's 401ks, they get it from pension funds. All of that stuff, every single, the 95% of, tax-paying Americans that work the 9 to 5, that is the 95% of the population. They create 95% of the wealth for the 5%, 1%, the government, whatever you want to call it, right? And so screw getting the Clarity Act passed rapidly to make sure that only banks can, custody crypto and earn and stake it and earn yield or whatever and make yield for people. That is their last ditch effort to keep control of your money. That's what's going on right now. And you can fathom doing that with gold and silver, right? Where it's if you didn't play a fool for the past 80 years. And when the government came to seize everyone's freaking gold, like, yeah, that might be a red flag. That, you know, that might be on the right path to individual wealth, or, you know, individual banking, whatever. What do you want to call it, really? Like, currency has been around forever. It's always been to gold. And, you know, the banks come out and they're like, yeah, you know, we'll store some gold, and then we'll have a certain amount of dollars for a certain amount of gold. You trust us with our vaults of gold. And, well, actually, no, we don't want to use gold anymore. We're just going to use fractional reserve banking. So for every $1 we get in, we'll lend it out 8 times. That sounds like that sounds like a scam, because it is. So, yeah, obviously, you know, Brad Garlinghouse, he's a G. Ripple is, you know, OG crypto that's like, yeah, we're just going to get a banking license. So whichever way the ball gets played, we're going to win. And that's a good thing and a bad thing for crypto, but it's a good and a good thing for XRP. So, again, great reason to be in this. So let's see what happens. But yeah, you know, I don't think just bowing down to the banks when you see the entire market collapsing right now, it's like, you don't think the banks are so stressed right now that, you know, when the price of gold surges and we're, you know, in a huge economic collapse, we're already in it right now, just so you're aware. We're already in a large economic downturn. What happens next is 1, 2, 3 banks fail. When the banks fail, the other banker buddies in the Federal Reserve have to purchase them out and make a larger bank, right? They get a larger bank and say, keep giving us your money. Keep trusting us with your funds. Not gonna happen, dude.